Fala galera, estamos começando mais um episódio da série Divinity Original Sin, né? Episódio passado a gente investigou bastante aqui essa estalagem do Rei Caranguejo, né? E vamos lá, continuar aqui. Deixa eu ver o que tem mais, né? Pra gente explorar essa aqui, essa cena do crime, né? A gente vai ter que falar com o capitão, né? Que eu acho que tá aqui, né? Vamos explorando com calma, porque muita coisa aqui pra ver.
A source hunter will always receive a warm welcome at the town hall of Cyseal. I'm sure Mayor Cecil is looking forward to making your acquaintance.
Welcome to the town hall of Cyseal. Mayor Cecil is waiting for you inside.
What? Oh, it's you. Come closer then. Closer, huh? My ears aren't what they used to be. Nor my eyes, for that matter. Yes, hello, Source Hunter. Our city welcomes you. My elf? What elf? Oh, myself. I am Cecil, Mayor of Cyseal, and husband of the stately Cecilia. I've been the mayor here for decades, and I'm quite eager to see Cyseal through these difficult times. Yes, very difficult times indeed. What? Oh, you mean Cyseal? Very difficult times indeed. As though the death of Jake, and by source magic no less, weren't enough. We're also facing all sorts of brutish intruders. The undead have overrun all but one northern trade route, while the orcs are making a habit of savaging our beaches. That's not to mention that at the top of this whole caboodle, there's rumors of some new religious sect or cult or some such sticking its tendrils into the innocent, seven-fearing folks of Cyseal. And, while we're on the subject of troubles, I myself have a private matter I'd like to bring to your attention. It involves a magic relic I rather foolishly sought. A weapon called the Staff of Pergamon. What now? Oh, you're speaking gibberish. Ah, you mean the Staff of Pergamon. Yes. I was expecting a shipment of weapons, and among the cargo was this very powerful, very rare staff. I managed to place the order through means somewhat, atypical to a government official. Cecil proved an old fool, though, for the merchant slated to deliver it to me has just informed me that the damn thing has gone missing. I fear it may have fallen into the wrong hands, and I wonder if you could retrieve it for me. The staff itself contains a shard of an ore, highly valued for its use in weapons of war. I know use of the material to be forbidden, but I was desperate to do something to aid the townsfolk against the undead. His name is Conrad, captain of the Tide Splitter, a merchant ship still docked at the Cyseal harbor. You can talk to him if you think it'd help, but I'd quite like to avoid getting the Legion involved, if you don't mind. Jake, murdered? Oh, yes, now I recall. Indeed, I could hardly believe it myself. The Council and I have certainly had most of the townsfolk are certain Jake's wife Esmeralda is responsible. In fact, the Legion have taken her into protective, as you can imagine. I've known Esmeralda for years. That business between her and the Duke of Ferrol was always a bit, suggestive. But I'm an all-right bloke, apart from all this Esmeralda nonsense. The whole town knows the only goal of his business trips to Cyseal is to spend a night or two at the King Crab Inn with Mrs. Counselor. What? The undead? Yes, for the past 2 years those blasted skeletons have all but suffocated this city. With all but one trade route overrun, Cyseal's once torrential commerce has slowed to a pathetic trickle. Well, I do believe that's something your parents ought to have discussed with you long ago, Source Hunter. But I suppose if you really don't know, I'd be remiss if I didn't at least explain the basics. You see, when a lady and a fellow find each other rather nice, well, rather more than nice. Oh, this is nonsense. I'm the mayor for the 7th sake. I can't be bothered to chat all day about the birds and the bees when Cyseal's under siege by orcs, undead, and cultists. That depends. What kind of berries are you interested in exactly? The library. Yes, you must have a visit. It's the gem of Cyseal. Would you like to have a look? I'll escort you upstairs myself. Marvelous. Follow me then.
I knew that dark-dealing old man dabbled in source. To the gallows, I say.
What? Oh, yes. This library is the jewel in Cyseal's crown. The beacon of culture and learning in our fair city. My Victoria has every volume you could possibly imagine, and she's got every speck of information about this place. Yes, Victoria's come a long way from that little bundle of claws and teeth I adopted so long ago. It brings a tear to my eye just seeing her here among her but what? Oh, yes. I'll be on my way back downstairs now.
The knight in see-through armor, Princess Buttercup
The lesser
with the blushing
key of
bottom.
Sarakandras. What nonsense.
Esmeralda does
The
have a propensity for
pseudo-monarchy
naughty,
and
hasn't
the
she?
first edition too. Most promising. Omnes autem mali daemones quam. What? What is this? Who are you to interrupt my musings? By Naga the Protector, they have the manners of boors, these boat... Oh, but perhaps I spoke too soon. Perhaps I was mistaken. For you hardly resemble the local fisherfolk, which, incidentally, is a compliment of... No. A source hunter. That is what you are. Yes, a stalker of sorcery. A chaser of charms pernicious. In truth, I cannot go so far as to say it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, for I take no pleasure in the company of man. But it may just be to our mutual advantage to join forces now. Why? Simply because you hunt source, and I, Jehan, hunt demons. You are aware now. I hate what I hunt, but I respect its cunning. Should I not? I'd admit this is a sentiment I'm quite certain you must recognize. Let there be strength in cunning, yes, but also in numbers. The calculus on one condition, that on our joint travels we will never deal with demonic entities, no matter how tempting their propositions.
Armor, Princess Buttercup with the blushing bottom.
Very well. There will be no deals with demons.
For all things
Agreed.
naughty.
Most gratifying. I see you are firm of purpose, and thereby ready to descend. Descend into the madness that is sorcery, into the depths where demons dance. Gladly shall I follow you into the abyss. Onward, blood and triumph await.
The blushing bottom, Stentiken. Esmeralda does have a propensity for all things naughty, hasn't she? Place this book here. In the name of Amun-Hor, I bid thee Tujda Geta Hal. Be welcome, human. My library is yours, as I hope your friendship is mine.
Now, this is valuable.
More junk.
Quem foi que entrou aqui, pelo amor de Deus? Ah.
Tujda Geta, friend.
Por causa dessa mulher aqui que, né, quase me pegou no flagra. Agora deixa eu furtar ela também. Não! Vou fechar aqui pra ver. Já fiz o rapa já aqui. Tá, esse vem pra cá, esse pode vir pra cá. Eu ia falar com ela aqui, mas agora já foi, né?
Knight in see-through armor. Princess Buttercup with the blushing bottom. Ständigen. Esmeralda does have a source hunter! Oh, what a sight for sore Cysealian eyes! Me? I live alone here in town. Used to be that my younger brother Tom and I were practically joined at the hip, but that's all changed now. Oh, he's always been something of a rascal, calling his petty hooliganism adventuring and endlessly worrying my poor mind. Oh, but of course, I've always loved that scamp to bits. Mayhem. For my part, I encouraged him to join the Legion. Even got him sparring with Captain Aureus now and then. But then those blasted Fabulous Five came into town. That band of... oh, I don't even know what to call them. Well, they're his heroes, and I simply couldn't prevent him from going to see them. That one meeting was all it took for Tom to run off with them. I'll place this book here. A volume of poetry among novels? Tujda Geta, friend. I am Victoria, daughter of Mayor Cecil. Oh, I know what you're thinking. The likeness isn't exactly striking, is it? When I was very young, you see, I must have been cast out by my tribe, for I was found in a wicker basket floating past Cyseal toward the sea. The fisherman who found me would have drowned me on the spot, for I am an orc after all. But praise be Amon Hor, dear Cecil was among the gathered crowd, and he took pity on the exiled infant that chance had put in his way. He raised me like I was his own, this kindest of souls, taught me the language of men, their customs and their letters. Thus, I became the city's librarian, a position I uphold with no small diligence and pride. Indeed you may. The wisdom I here hoard is yours to peruse and even take with you. All I can ask is that you return the books you borrow so that others may enjoy them too.
What? Oh, it's you! What news?
I've got my eyes on the prize.
Opa, pera aí.
matron. I see your tired eyes looking a bit teary. I've just the potion for that. Or would you prefer a toasty fire spell to dry those vapours? What sort of arrows do you want? Freezing? Silver? Poison? Get to the point.
Made a big cheese on your block with a wheel of the good stuff. Tall snake, wing of worm, roll and slice and stir and churn.
Heavenly herring, delicious dogfish, yours for a scrap of gold each.
There's as many friends as the man with many cheeses.
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
Made a big cheese on your block with a wheel of the good stuff.
Join the slice club if you've got an eye for farm potatoes.
Hello again. Terribly sorry, Source Hunter, but I seem to be fresh out of priceless relics for you to destroy.
More junk. Nothing but rubbish.
been studying under Theliron for some time now. I've a Hello again. Terribly sorry, Source Hunter, but I've been studying under... I've a passion...
To what do I owe the repeated pleasure, Source Hunter?
Steady, boys, steady. We'll be leaving as soon as we're packed up.
And don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the Lizard Councillor's wife.
Is that why we never sail the Youthful Door anymore?
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that orchid charm loves him.
Ahoy, sailor! Aye, that's Cecil's worse than a rooster. Crowing all around town about matters he ought to know are better kept. For my part, I haven't a clue where it could have gone. Overboard, stolen, wouldn't hurt to ask some of my men. I tried myself, but sailors tend to be a bit tight-lipped when they're afraid of getting one another in some trouble. Those are, I'll tell you, the only time I'd consider waging a suicide.
That loopy legionnaire really thinks that orchid charm loves him.
I wouldn't let it all within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Ever hear about the time the captain took the Duchess of Federal's carriage for the joyride?
No, indeed.
Sailor, what news from the mainland?
Oh, nothing new, sir. Zombies, skeletons, you know the story. He got caught passing a love note to the Lizard Councillor's wife.
Is that why we never sail the Youthful Door anymore?
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that orchid charm loves him.
I wouldn't let it all within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Ever heard about the time the captain took the Duchess of Federal's carriage for the joyride?
No, indeed.
Heard anything about the whereabouts of the magic stick yet?
And don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the Lizard
Filme,
Councillor's
pelo amor de Deus.
Is that why we never sail the Youthful Door anymore?
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy legion... Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that orky charm loves him.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Yes, sir. As fine a specimen as one of her stock, sir.
Knowing him, he drove it straight to the pub and back.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the Lizard Councillor's wife.
Is that why we never sailed to youthful gore anymore?
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that orky charm loves him.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Sailor, what news from the mainland?
Oh, nothing new, sir. Zombies, skeletons, you know the story.
Knowing him, he drove it straight to the pub and back.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the Lizard Councillor's wife.
That's why we never sailed to youthful gore anymore.
Sauce? Here. Star for what now? No, never.
Sauce? Here, now that you mention it, I noticed Dietmar, a fellow merchant travelling with us, carrying a sealed box off the ship during the attack. At the time, I figured he was just escaping with his personal effects. But it could well have been that staff you're talking about. Well, sure, I saw him slip off the ship, but I haven't a clue where he could possibly be now. Captain...
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire...
Heard anything about the whereabouts of the magics? What? That weasel has it for sure. But I'll tell you this. I didn't speak of that stuff to a soul. I'm sure he'll make a run for it, probably by boat. I'd look for him on an out-of-sight beach somewhere. He's probably there now trying to launch a vessel in private. If he hasn't already escaped, that is.
Is that why we never sailed to youthful gore anymore?
Everything we do seems to fortify your abilities.
Yes, sir. As fine a specimen as one of her stock, sir.
I suppose your example has inspired me to reach heights I never before envisioned.
That inspiration, Hart.
The Duchess of Fiddle's carriage for the joyride.
Knowing him, he drove it straight to the pub and back.
Oh, and don't forget the time...
Sailor, what news from the mainland?
Oh, nothing new, sir. Zombies, skeletons, you know the story. Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that orky charm loves him.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Psst. Ever hear about the time the captain took the Duchess of Fiddle's carriage for the joyride?
Knowing him, he drove it straight to the pub and back.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the Lizard Councillor's wife.
That's why we never sailed to youthful gore anymore.
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that orky charm loves him.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Time the captain took the Duchess of Fiddle's carriage for the joyride.
Knowing him, he drove it straight to the pub and back.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the Lizard Councillor's wife.
That's why we never sailed to youthful gore anymore.
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that orky charm loves him.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Ever hear about the time the captain took the Duchess of Fiddle's carriage for the joyride?
Knowing him, he drove it straight to the pub and back.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the Lizard Councillor's wife.
That's why we never sailed to youthful gore anymore.
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that orky charm loves him.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Ever hear about the time the captain took the Duchess of Fiddle's carriage for the joyride?
Knowing him, he drove it straight to the pub and back.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the Lizard Councillor's wife.
That's why we never sailed to youthful gore anymore.
loves him.
I wouldn't let it all win, but I'm under yours. I love nature.
Forget about the time the captain took the Duchess of Bell's cage for a joyride.
No, it is. He drove it straight to the bubble bank.
And don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the Lizard Councillor's wife.
Is that why we're going to stay with you anymore?
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that orky charm loves him.
I wouldn't let it all win, but I'm under yours. I love nature.
Ever heard about the time the captain took the Duchess of Bell's cage for a joyride?
No, it is. He drove it straight to the bubble bank.
And don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the Lizard Councillor's wife.
Is that why we're going to stay with you anymore?
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that orky charm loves him.
I wouldn't let it all win, but I'm under yours. I love nature.
Ever heard about the time the captain took the Duchess of Bell's cage for a joyride?
No, it is. He drove it straight to the bubble bank.
And don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the Lizard Councillor's wife.
Is that why we're going to stay with you anymore?
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that orky charm loves him.
I wouldn't let it all win, but I'm under yours. I love nature.
Ever heard about the time the captain took the Duchess of Bell's cage for a joyride?
No, it is. He drove it straight to the bubble bank.
And don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the Lizard Councillor's wife.
Is that why we're going to stay with you anymore?
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that orky charm loves him.
I wouldn't let it all win, but I'm under yours. I love nature.
Ever heard about the time the captain took the Duchess of Bell's cage for a joyride?
No, it is. He drove it straight to the bubble bank.
And don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the Lizard Councillor's wife.
Is that why we're going to stay with you anymore?
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire
There's my pepper. Did it cross legs and run away?
Oh, how nice it is of you. The very picture of youth, to break the monotony of an elder's day. Wild away on this hardwood bench. Pray, let me be forward with you, O sapling rose, O leaf of spring. For my weary mind is troubled, and would highly prize thy gentle-handed assistance. You would listen to my grievances, guide me towards untroubled realms. Oh, you are truly a wonder, oh budding flower of the morn. Yet that which I would tell you is of a rather private nature. So let us escape both the chill, hot spiced wine, and a snug little room awaits us on the King Crab's first floor. Let's...
Another perfect heist. You sneak with the subtlety of a tried and true cat burglar.
Why, thanks. I rather do, don't I? Ha! A few more heists and I'll be a fat cat in no time.
No doubt about it.
Not even worth the rummaging. Looks like the mortician is rather suspicious about Jake.
What could Mayor Cecil, Captain Aureus, or Evelyn have to do with it?
So...
Guess someone else got here first.
So, what's the bad news? More orcs rampaging through the docks? Or a sad story, that? Though if I'm speaking plainly, the sentimental aspect of it all doesn't make much of an impression on an undertaker. Especially not these days, with so many laid low by the orcs and such like. I just concern myself with giving the remains a respectable exit from life. We set him to rest in the northern graveyard. Perhaps he can finally get a little peace. How do you... Ah, the ledger, is it? Fool was I to leave it in the open. Or perhaps I even looked forward to being found out. Well, as you know, I have my suspects in the matter. What would you like to know? Plenty of us shopkeepers entrust the mayor with the spare keys to our businesses, you know. And he's the only person in town with a second copy of the key to the mortuary. He could have used it to sidle in without a peep, if he were so inclined. Aureus himself paid me a visit the night the body was delivered. Came rapping at my door in the frosty morning before the sun had even started peeping, and told me to tell him, and only him, if I noticed anything strange or suspicious about the remains. Can't see why he'd bothered to go through all that trouble, unless he knew something the rest of us don't. I know it sounds strange suspecting the doctor's apprentice of something so ghoulish as this, but there's few in this city could manage to transport a corpse without raising eyebrows. It was she who delivered Jake's body from the inn to the mortuary, and there was something about her that night, some kind of excitement. Seemed she could barely contain her thoughts, that there was something thrilling about to happen. I can't quite settle it in my mind how a young medical professional would have such a strange... And this may or may not have anything to do with the whole rigmarole. But her master, Dr. Theleron, bought an old shack of mine, one overtaken by undead, for an exorbitant price considering what he was getting. I never did figure what he wanted it for, but he sure seemed eager. I never saw a widow less distraught at the death of her husband, and I've seen hundreds pass through my parlor. It was she who rang my bell just before the body was snatched, lured me outside claiming she needed air, before discussing the funeral arrangements. Some accomplice could have sneaked in and grabbed the remains while I was comforting the oh-so-overcome Esmeralda. That gold's the only good thing to come out of this blasted affair, and I certainly plan on making some use of it. There's no need for all that. Take the gold then, and we'll call the rest even. Oh. So, what's the bad news? More orcs rampaging through the docks?
Never saw you in the king crab before. You're welcome to scratch me behind the ears if you like. I won't scratch back. I am Unsinkable Sam. At least that's what they call me around here. Used to be a ship's cat, but the clipper I was on sank, and I was the only one to wrestle himself free from the waves. The people here were kind and took me in. Been the king crab's foremost patron ever since. So I was. What friends I had. They drowned alongside the rats I used to hunt in the galley. And then, not that I have it bad here, mind you. I've milk and fish aplenty. Most folks will pet me kindly, and when one of the village girls holds me tight against her ample bosom, I purr up a storm. But I do long for a companion of my own kind, and in that regard, there is no one like Maxine. A magnificent ship she was. Used to belong to a pirate, I was told. Unlike me, she didn't prove to be unsinkable, though. We hit the cliffs right neath the lighthouse. Not very apt a name for that building, I must say, for no light was shining from it. The moment I hit the water, I writhed around like I would on a hot tin roof. By some miracle, I managed to reach the beach, covered in kelp and smelling worse than a fish's funeral parlor. But I was alive, and that was more than anybody else could say. Maxine, the mayor's darling pet. So gentle, so fair a feline. She likes me. I know she does. But when I declare my love, she backs away. I don't know why. I have serenaded her and braved many a bucket of water for my efforts. But for some reason, she is not to be swayed. By all means. People make a fuss about them because they endanger the lands around the city. They never bother me when I'm out for my monthly walk, though. But still, I do detest them. I mean, they're so unnatural, aren't they? Cats can have 9 lives, but humans are only entitled to 1. Oh, don't mention orcs to me. Worse than dogs, that lot. Sank Walrus Willie's boat right from under him. Best anchovy fisher in the world he was. A loss to us all.
You have come. Yes, that is most satisfactory. Begone, brittle mask of age. Hear me now repeat the words of Brittletooth, the child snatcher of Carador. Come, play with me, for I'm hungry. Come, play, play, play. The game, yes! A game of blood and brutality, of death and dexterity. Fun as herring the horror harlequin. But, like the serpentine stalker hisses before the stab, hush now, darkness, darling, hush, hush, and listen to my tale. The elves of Gandavon, they lived in peace. Oh yes, but one night, when the moon had hid her face, the orcs of the tribe of Kazuldagar beset our city. They cooked and ate and burned every last one of us. The light of dawn never saw an elf of Gandavon no more. All undone, every last one of us. Except for me, the midnight rambler, away from the city. I was very old back then already, though indeed I whisper of many years hence. But death shall not find me. Oh no, not until every beast of Kazuldagar has been bled. I may be frail, a withered grey, but the wealth of kings is mine. Countless assassins have ministered to the vengeance that is my want, and now is almost over. By Kala, Lady of the Last Gaze, I swear it is almost done. Only the very last one of the Kazuldagar still eludes me. The crowning kill that would seal its fate and mine alike. I have tracked her down, by the curse of the spine spear I have. She does not know her ill-shapen sun is setting fast. Color the dusk red, O sword of youth. Bloody the day with the bramble sap that runs through the veins of Victoria. Bring me the amulet that clings to her flesh, soon to fade. And yours shall be the bounty of vindication. Mine shall be its sanguine satisfaction after long, long last. Yes, Victoria. She is the one whose heart must be held in hand. The heart around which the fingers of that hand must clench and tighten until its choking flesh bulges with blood and its beat slowly breaks. The orcs of Gazuldagar, they knew my name. Oh yes, by the bite of the roving rattler, they knew my design. And so they sought to save their last, an infant, she who was to be queen. To no avail, oh no. Years, how many I know not. Her name is that of a woman, her employment that of a civilized being. But by the fork of Barbara Man-Eater, she is nothing but an orc, a cyst of nature, one of a misbegotten litter dragged into life from the tumoured womb of a filthy, coarse-haired beast that was humped like a dog in the darkness of a Victoria, librarian, daughter, adopted child of Cecil, Mayor of Cyseal. There is bloodlust in you. I can feel it. Let it out. Set it free. Undo the last of the Kazuldagar. By the breasts of Sishara Goatsuckler, give me my revenge! My name is Eglandir Twil Salanar, elf of the House of Gandavum, the slaughtered House of Gandavum. But by the twin blades...
That was quite the radical change we witnessed. I never would have thought that the benign old man we met outside would turn out to be a vengeance-driven aficionado of assassins.
Soon the last will
He is as much a savage as those orcs. And how is Victoria guilty of her tribe's crime if she was but a babe at the time?
All hail his hot-steeled instruments.
Indeed.
Paid a big change on your block for the whale of the good stuff.
Beleza, galera, vamos ficando por aqui com esse episódio. Se gostou, deixa um like, compartilha aí. Valeu!